3 hours outside of the crowded capital city of Senegal, Dakar is a small village where big things are happening. You won't find it unless you're looking. I ended up in these 85 years visiting over 152 countries. And everywhere I went, I tried to understand the people there, and I tried to learn as much from them as I could. In 2003, I accepted an invitation from Dr. Eric Bedossa, a soft-spoken miracle worker who had, for the first time, organized traditional healers from across the entire region at a place he named the Malongo Center, located in a remote village called Fatick. At that time, the Ford Foundation was funding the first clinical study of patients at the Malongo Center.
We are sure that because of traditional medicine, because of African science, we have a lot of things to give to Western system. So we want to have partnership to share our knowledge.
I got the greeting of a lifetime. And then I saw with my own eyes the work being done here. Even without a medical laboratory or standard diagnostic tools, traditional healers have a variety of ways of determining what's wrong with somebody. For instance, based on a particular complaint, you might be asked to urinate near an ant mound. If the ants come and gather in the urine, you got sugar in the urine. And they began to treat you for diabetes. Among the healers at Malongo Center were specialists qualified in their own right to treat everything from hypertension to sickle cell anemia, primarily using herbs with a little help from the spirits. They think of these medicines as a gift of God.
Conventional Western medicine has definitely underestimated the power of plants.
4,500 miles from Fatick, near Chattanooga, Tennessee, nationally recognized herbalist and psychologist Holly Ritchie treats her own patients and works in collaboration with local physicians who have become more and more open-minded.
For a long time, there has been a resistance to using holistic medicine and to using herbal medicine.
On her land and in greenhouses open to the public, Holly Ritchie grows and sells a variety of plants, including the medicinal herbs used in her healing practice.
People will say like, oh, herbs, I believe in those. And I've told them that you really don't need to believe in them because it's chemistry, that they're going to work because it's science. It's a chemical compound that's going to actually do something to the cells of your body.
Long before she studied to become an expert in the field, no pun intended, Holly Ritchie learned about folk remedies from her own mother.
We're from Appalachia, and there was a strong push by the doctors to tell the mothers that these were ineffective and not safe, and that they needed to use the drugstore chemical pharmaceuticals.
But pharmaceuticals, even those made from herbal extracts, often focus on a component or multiple components believed to be the essence of a plant, missing the bigger picture.
It's working as a whole with so many variables.
What Holly Ritchie has in common with Eric Bedossa and traditional healers an ocean away is the educated belief that nature has given us everything we need. We just have to figure out what it is, not necessarily why it works.
I learned from Dr. Bedossa, as long as there has been pain, there has been healing.
But some beliefs cannot be validated by science or quantified. For instance, the medicine does not heal the body heals itself. The medicine just stimulates the healing process. But that healing process in the African traditions is never just a physical process. It always has strong spiritual, emotional, and energetic movements attached to it. Even during slavery, the singing and the dancing was what made life livable. It's almost like you can't get well if you can't dance. Well, I sure didn't feel like dancing in Senegal. In fact, by the time I got there to Fatigue, I was having difficulty just walking. And I don't take pain pills. I've had cartilage missing in my knees since I was about 65. And yes, doctors as well as friends many times have urged me to consider knee replacement. I'm not afraid of surgery, but I've been reluctant. There's something about sawing my bones. And so I've decided that I was going to find alternatives. I really wasn't looking for those alternatives here, but Dr. Bedosa realized I was having a hard time getting around, and he insisted.
And we tried, and doctor something.
Okay,
Absolutely.
very good. And
I don't want to think that traditional medicine is just used for poor people. No, it's a big mistake. Traditional medicine can find solution for rich people who don't have solution in Western system.
well, by no means am I rich, but I agreed to follow Dr. Bedosa into a small building. Inside, a group of healers gathered. I was asked to roll up my pants leg, and one of them went to work. The traditional healer did something
To feel better.
good.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
thank you. He lightly sort of just touched my knees, moaned and recited, and blew a little air on it and spit on it a little bit. And it was a kind of weird experience. When I got up, I wasn't hurting anymore. And I couldn't believe that. My rhythm came back. And I was dancing and not hurting. Many times since then, I've wondered if my relief was a sort of placebo effect. I was feeling so good after his treatments that I didn't want it to be wrong. I can say only one thing with certainty. It gave me some relief for that trip. A few years later, even as I climbed the mountains of Rwanda to visit gorillas in their natural habitat. Now, 15 years after my visit to Fatigue, I finally started using a scooter.
I'm sorry that you don't come often. You know, when you come the last time, it's just 10 minutes of energy. But I think the last time you come, we can give you more.
This isn't told to prove or disprove anything, but for me, it was certainly memorable.
It honestly feels better.
It's an amazing experience to visit and to try to understand traditions, culture that they used, which to us seem irrational and illogical. We shouldn't just write them off. There has been amazing adaptability to very difficult conditions of survival on the African continent. And that includes conditions like Ebola.
It was remedies from roots, from plants, and so on.
And even AIDS.
Where Zaxby's is from, flavor comes first.